Good morning, Courtney. I hope that you had a good night's rest. I was just wondering if you left the house already.
Oh, good morning, Nate. I wasn't expecting you to message me this early. I actually just got on the subway, so yes, I have left the house.
Oh, really? You're super speedy, aren't you?
Yeah, my parents were staying at a hotel near the wedding venue. I think I left early because I only just came back for the first time after being in Singapore for 7 years. A few things have changed since I was last here, so I don't really know what's happening in the area. I think it was better to get up early and get going.
Oh, is that right? Well, I guess that makes sense since you haven't been back to the States for a long time. Good idea to have gotten up early.
If everything goes the way it was planned, I think we'll be able to arrive at the wedding venue about 30 minutes earlier than we were supposed to.
I see. Well, that's good to know. Then everything looks like it's good to go.
Yeah? What about you? What's going on with you?
Well, actually something has come up, but I don't want you to worry too much about it. As for me at the moment, I'm still traveling by car with my parents from their house. I also have to pick up my sister from the airport before we get on our way to the ceremony.
What do you mean? You have to go and pick up Nora from the airport? But I thought that she got into New York last night. That she was flying in last night?
So apparently there was some sort of mix-up, and she forgot to buy her plane ticket to New York, and the earliest flight here was for today.
What the heck? Well, that's really annoying of her. She should have been more organized than that. That's not good enough.
She got in contact with me last night about it. She told me that she was rushing to get a seat for a flight bound from New York, but the first flight wasn't going to be until this morning. Then somehow she was able to get a ticket for that flight, so we have to go and get her from the airport. But there's no need for you to worry about it. You'll be able to arrive at the ceremony in plenty of time, and everything will be right on schedule as we planned.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess it won't affect the schedule then. Everything should go according to plan. So with that happening, is there anything else we need to worry about? I hope not. I haven't been able to meet Nora yet since we got together. If you're going to come to the ceremony right after you pick her up from the airport, could you introduce me to her first thing this morning? Just so that we know each other and there isn't any awkward feelings.
Oh, I see what you mean. I mean, we could try doing that, but I'm really not sure about the timing of everything, you see. It should be fine to do little introductions. I don't think that it'll affect the schedule too much. I'll talk to my sister about it, and hopefully we can get something organized.
Yes, please. If you could do that, it would be greatly appreciated. I guess I will see you a little later at the wedding venue. Take care in getting to the airport and to here.
Of course, my sweet lady. You too, okay? See you a little later on.
Oh my god! It was you after all! I knew it. Your name is Courtney, right? I remember you. At the time, I didn't know what your name was, and I was skeptical when I saw a photo of you. But once I saw you in the flesh, I knew it was you! You really did a great job of things 5 years ago, didn't you? Pouring beer on you wasn't enough. I should have hit you as well!
What are you saying? You're the one who poured beer all over me. You're Nate's older sister, right? You're Nora?
Huh? What are you talking about? I guess there's really no point in blurting out what I want to say, is there? But I will anyway. Clearly it's been over 5 years since it happened, but I remember it like it was yesterday. This is about you! You're such a terrible person! I've hated you since the moment you took away the person who was kind to me when I had just moved away!
I'm totally confused by what you're saying. Why are you bringing up what happened over 5 years ago? I don't understand anything you're saying to me. I thought that today was supposed to be the first time I was meeting you, and that you were going to be my lovely sister-in-law.
Oh, cut the crap, Courtney! You know exactly what I'm talking about. You need to get back to reality. You need to get over here and face me. I mean, are you seriously kidding about marrying Nate? I don't know if this is some kind of sick joke or not when it comes to marrying my younger brother, but I can see right through you. I'll never forgive you for what you did to me. Don't think I'm going to be nice to you when you marry into my family. I intend to make your life a living hell from now on. Don't even think about messing with me. You've got no idea what I'm capable of.
Hey, Courtney. How are you doing? Is everything okay?
Hi, my sweet Nate. Yes, I'm okay. I was lucky enough to meet the wedding planner just now, and I'm allowed to go to the bride's waiting room to get ready. Thank you for taking care of me earlier. I was able to escape the chaos a bit, but,
But that beer was poured over your entire head. My own sister decided just to do that all of a sudden. I couldn't believe it. I think she probably bought a can from the liquor store when we stopped to get some food at a mall on the way to here. Why would she even do that to you when she's never met you before?
Right? I don't understand her actions at all. What should we do about her now? I don't want any more liquids poured all over me.
Right. Yeah, of course not. I don't want that happening to you either. I was chasing after you when you ran off from us, but I lost track of where you went. I was in a rush to look for you. I wanted to make sure you were okay. After a while, I caught up with you playing with your phone and I managed to find you. I left it up to my parents to deal with my sister, but they were looking for me as well. And now...
I see. But I really don't get how it came to this happening. Your sister seemed to have known my phone number and what I looked like. But you told me she didn't know anything about me, even my name. Is that right?
Huh? I'm confused. What are you saying? She did know you then?
Apparently I was someone that she had trouble with in the past, but I had no idea who she was at the time. She said she didn't know my name at the time and that she only found out about me when it finally clicked in her head what I looked like. Like, what does that even mean? I have absolutely no idea what I did to her. I hardly remember what I was doing 5 years ago. How can someone have a grudge for that amount of time? It's kind of strange.
I've got no idea, Courtney. I only told her your name at the beginning of the relationship. I never said much else about you. As for knowing what you looked like, I think it's because after we met up at the airport in the morning, I saw a photo of you on her phone. But I never told her your phone number or anything like that.
This is just a guess, but is it possible that she manipulated people into thinking I'm a bad person or something? And how did she get my number without getting permission first?
Maybe she could have done that. I don't know. When we stopped to get some food, my parents and I went to use the store's bathroom while my sister was shopping for some things. At the time, I left my phone in the car because I didn't think I needed it. But my sister got back to the car before I did. I think that was when she was able to look at my phone and get your contact details without asking me first.
That sounds about right to me. I don't think you would have given my number to her if you knew what she was going to say to me.
Wait a minute. So my sister did send you a message then?
Yes. She sent me multiple messages, actually. I was told what happened to her over 5 years ago, and I got confused as to what it had to do with me. She said that she had some sort of contact with me back then. I don't remember her at all. It was such a long time ago.
Well, just over the 5 years ago, she left our hometown. It was to go and start her new job at a company in Washington, D.C. It would almost be impossible for her and you to have met face to face during that time, right? She must have mistaken you for somebody else, surely.
That's my thinking, too. That can't possibly be right. I think she's completely misunderstood everything and gotten me confused with someone else. However, it doesn't mean that she should have done what she did to me. It was so wrong and she should have got her facts straight first. I'm so confused about the whole situation, so can you come and meet me so I can show you the messages that she sent me? Maybe there's something that you can get out of them rather than me trying to decipher them all day long.
Of course. I can do that. Okay. I'll come over and meet you in the waiting room. I'm on my way now. Hey, Courtney. I've got some things to tell you. So, my sister's being watched over by my parents at their house for the time being.
Oh, really? Why is that? Did something else happen?
No, nothing else has happened. But I thought I should tell you what's going on. I somehow got a feeling that the reasons why she did what she did to you in the first place is because of some romance trouble that happened 5 years ago. Apparently it all went down at the place of her employment in D.C. To me, what she was saying was completely incoherent, and she was getting all jumpy, and wanted to have another go at you. So in the end, we had some disagreements during the conversation, and now she's locked herself in one of my parents' bedrooms.
Oh, wow. That sounds like a lot, Nate. Well, you did your best with the situation at hand. But I think I know what she might be talking about. The romance trouble that she had 5 years ago?
Oh, really? You know about that? Do you mind me asking what happened with that?
Well, I do have something to tell you about that. I'm just nervous to tell you, that's all. Was Nora's job in DC anything to do with selling miscellaneous goods through a company called DC Imports?
Oh, yes. She worked for a company with that name, yeah. However, she only worked there for about a year, then quit. She got another job at a company that does similar things.
Oh, okay. When it comes to the romance troubles she had, I think there were some male coworkers involved. Did any of their names come up by any chance?
Now that you mention it, yes. One name came up. Some guy named Jake, I think she said amongst the things she was rambling about.
Are you sure it was Jake? If it was, I think I might know what happened and why she's holding a grudge.
I don't understand. What happened to her that would make her get so angry at you?
This is just a guess, but I think I've connected all the dots in this whole mess together.
I still don't understand what you mean, Courtney. What are you talking about? What's going on?
I don't think I can talk about this over a message with you. There are some people that I need to speak with first that I have permission to talk about it with you. Can you come back here tonight so we can talk this out?
Well, if we aren't going to talk about it right now, then yes. I'll come over and talk to you about it in person. If that's what you want me to do, of course.
Well, then I guess I'll talk to the people that I need to get permission from, and I'll let you know before you come back here tonight.
Okay, then. This sounds like something really serious. It's kind of making me a little anxious to hear about all of it.
I'm really sorry for all the detours and being so quiet about it. I know it's frustrating for you right now. I think they'll give me permission to talk about it. I just needed to make sure everything is okay with them before I do. I haven't got much of a choice but to ask them how much I can reveal.
That's fine, Courtney. Do what you need to do, and I'll come over later. It's better to ask than not. See you later.
That's just great. The wedding ceremony. It went ahead, didn't it? It's done? You're making me feel like such an outcast when you're the one that's done me wrong. Why didn't you cancel the wedding ceremony? That would have been the better option. I warned Nate so many times about you, especially how much of a terrible woman you are.
Okay, Nora, you need to calm down and actually listen to what I have to say about this. You know, I was just thinking about contacting you to talk about what's going on.
What's the point in talking about what you stole from me? 5 years have passed and you're just walking around with a stick up your backside like you've done nothing wrong.
If you must know, up until last year, I was living and working in Singapore.
So? What's that got to do with anything? Don't you understand what you've done to me?
Due to my father's work, I spent about 10 years in Singapore. I started middle school life there, and I also just got a job that kept me in Singapore for a long time. At that job, I happened to have met Nate, who had come from a branch in the States. He was sent to Singapore to work. We got to know each other and then started dating. About a year ago, I decided to finish up my work in Singapore as I wanted to come back to the States. I returned to the States with Nate last year.
Wait a minute, what do you mean? Are you saying you've been in Singapore and not visited the States in 10 years?
As you can see, you've mistaken me for someone else that's done you wrong. And I know who you've gotten me mistaken for. My cousin actually looks very similar to me.
You've got to be kidding me right now. Are you for real? You weren't in the States at all? And are you saying that there is someone else out there that has the exact same facial features as you?
Well, if you look really close, you can see the difference. But if someone who isn't close to you looks at them and they look at the same time, people would think we're twins. I don't know how genes work in the family. I can't help that she also looks very similar to me. I heard the story that you told me the other day almost 5 years ago from my cousin. It just popped into my head last night. After thinking about it for a long while, I remembered that my cousin's husband and Nora worked at the same company 5 years ago.
Are you serious? Is this some sort of prank you're playing on me to get out of what you've done? If you didn't do it like you said, then it was your cousin who took Jake away from me.
I know for a fact that's definitely not true. My cousin didn't take anyone away from you.
What are you talking about? How can she not have taken Jake away from me? Isn't that exactly what we're talking about right now? What am I saying that's wrong?
Okay, there's no roundabout way in saying this, so I'm going to say this as clearly as possible so no one gets confused. It was a whole misunderstanding on your part that you thought that Jake had some sort of romantic feelings for you when in fact he didn't. You thought things developed into a relationship when they hadn't from his point of view.
What are you saying? He doesn't think that we were in a relationship? Are you seriously kidding me?
Well, you only see things from your point of view, so it wasn't obvious to you that he didn't feel anything more for you than just being a colleague. You said that Jake was dating you, but before you could confirm anything, he was engaged to another woman. You said that you were close with him. But honestly, it seems like nothing was established in terms of a relationship. I think that's how you saw the situation. So you got angry over that, and as a result, you started appearing near the building where Jake and my cousin lived. You were harassing my cousin, weren't you, Nora?
You're wrong. It wasn't harassment at all. Nothing comes from marrying a woman who's a man-eater. She's a complete predator who steals men from other women. I was just desperate to make Jake see what she was doing to him, brainwashing him into falling for her instead of me.
Well, it seems like you've made a huge mistake because she's not like that at all.
Oh yeah? Why do you think that, huh? You obviously don't know what she's capable of.
Listen to me. My cousin and Jake have known each other since high school, and they got together and then got married while they were students at university.
What? They really met that long ago? Pfft, surely not.
Well, let me put it for you in plain words. By the time they got jobs at DC Imports, they were already married. Then you started there 6 months later. Did you really think that you could steal Jake away from his wife? My cousin?
Are you serious? They were already married, but I never saw a ring on his finger. How was I to know that?
At their workplace, it's not safe to wear rings because they can get caught. Besides, it seems that the people around you were telling you over and over again that he was taken. You weren't calm about it all and didn't move from it. The blood went rushing to your head and you blocked everything people said because you were in denial. You repeatedly made one-sided approaches towards Jake that made him and my cousin uncomfortable. Then you started harassing my cousin so she'd go away. Finally, Jake couldn't take it anymore, so he got angry at you and you couldn't stand it. You got frightened, so you resigned on your own accord. Instead of telling your family what actually happened and what you did to my cousin, you promised them you'd never bother Jake and her ever again. You paid them in compensation for the harassment you dished out and settled the matter that way, at least for the time being. But now it's creeped back into your life because you saw me and it triggered you. So that's what happened.
That's not really how it went. I don't understand what you're talking about. So Jake was already married when we met each other, but he was being so kind to me. I didn't know.
It seems like the people that worked with you both also said that it was a whole big misunderstanding on mostly your part.
What are you saying? You think this is all my fault? Jake's the one who was giving me unclear signals.
I think that new employees who joined only 6 months apart from each other had a lot of time to interact and get each other's vibes. You would have known he wasn't interested. When you talked about going on a lunch date, it would be a lunch with multiple people where you'd all go out to a restaurant during the lunch break. Drinking dates after work would be the whole department going out together or going to some sort of banquet. You were the one who got their wires crossed the wrong way. When you said that you went on a trip with Jake, it was really just a business trip or a company trip to reward you all for your hard work. You weren't lovers, Nora. You were just co-workers.
That can't be true. I swear I thought he had some sort of feelings for me. He gave me such mixed signals sometimes.
Anyway, that's how I interpreted the situation. I had nothing to do with you or what you did 5 years ago. It was obviously a case of mistaken identity. But it doesn't mean what you did to me was called for. You're the one who made the mistakes. You're the one who poured their entire beer all down me and insulted me to the point that I ran off. It's all on you.
You've got to tell me this and you've got no choice. Where is Jake and his woman right now?
Just when I thought I wasn't going to hear from you again, you decide to message me for information. Do you seriously think I'd tell you where they were? Huh? Are you mad?
I believe that Jake is still in love with me. He needs to be with me and only me.
Are you kidding me right now? Don't you realize that he's happily married to my cousin? Are you crazy?
Well, I want to take him back. I want it to be like just how we used to be in the office. I want to make him happy and he'll make me happy too.
Oh, is that right? You really think that will happen? After all, you can't admit your mistakes and don't understand anything.
I haven't made any mistakes about this. I know it's true. He still loves me. If Jake and I were to meet up again right now, he'll instantly feel the passion that we once had for each other and he'll take me back. Did he come to the wedding you held? Was he one of the people amongst your relatives?
No, I didn't invite them. Because of the venue size, I had to adjust the guest list to only inviting my aunts and uncles.
But if I'm not mistaken, you have Jake's contact details, right? You must have his number, right? So I need you to hurry up and give it to me so I can tell him to come back to me so we can be in love and make a family together. If you don't give me his number, you know what'll happen, right?
Nope. I don't know what'll happen and I don't need to know because I don't want anything to do with you. You've gone completely crazy and I'm not giving out any numbers to you.
Excuse me, what? You can't just say something like that to me about my Jake.
He's not your Jake, Nora. How many times do we have to tell you this until you understand? No matter what you try and do, he'll always be with my cousin. He loves her, not you, and wants nothing to do with you. You're way out of his league for him anyways if he was single.
Excuse me? How dare you talk to me like that? You've got some nerve, Courtney. I can make your life a living hell since you've married my younger brother.
I'm ending this conversation. I don't want it going any further. Goodbye.
What? Excuse me, you can't just bail on this conversation. If you won't give me his number, how am I supposed to meet up with Jake? He can't just not be with me. What are you doing to me? You can't just leave me on red.
I can and I will. Don't even think about going near my cousin and her husband. Stay out of our lives.
But wait a minute, I need his information. Don't delete my messages. I don't know how I can get a hold of him, though. Come back.
I have no idea what kind of woman Nora is, but it came off as kinda crazy. My cousin and her husband currently live in Australia. Jake changed jobs so that he could work overseas, and he moved his parents to Australia as well. They plan on staying there forever. Nora keeps bugging me about getting Jake's information. By the time Nora got my address, Nate and I were already on a flight back to Singapore. I just returned there after completing my contract at the American branch as I had planned. Nora was completely exhausted after losing her hold on getting Jake back. Taking advantage of the situation, Nora's parents offered her up to a very distant relative. She was to be a wife and caregiver to a man in his 50s that had a few quirks. My in-laws also plan to move to Singapore permanently in the near future. I don't think anyone in our family will see Nora again. I won't see her again for the rest of my life. Thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to see more content like this.
Hello, Susan. Thank you so much for coming today. Ken told me all about you previously, but once I met you in person, I was shocked that you were such a delightful woman. I had no idea. To think that such a wonderful woman is going to marry my son, it's like a dream come true. I'm very happy for you two. You two make such a splendid couple. I'm absolutely sure my late husband is smiling down on the two of you from heaven. I wish you and Ken the happiest life going forward. And please don't hesitate to stop in for a visit again anytime you like. Thank you very much, but can I say just one thing? I would prefer that this be the last time we meet. Excuse me? I have no intention of visiting your home during Christmas or Thanksgiving. I'll have Ken go over there when it's absolutely necessary. Let's not associate with each other, if that's okay with you. I would much rather prefer that. I'm sorry, but are you serious? Can I ask why? I'm sorry, did I do something that may have offended you in any way? No, nothing like that. I married Ken, is all. It's not if I married the whole family. I just don't want all the baggage. We have no blood relations, which makes us total strangers. All I ask is that we keep it separate. I don't need the hassle of all this family relationships and so forth. It gets a bit stressful, don't you think? So let's keep all future interactions to a minimum. I'm going to shut off my line unless it's absolutely necessary. So, if you need something, please go through Ken, would you, please? But just because Ken is your oldest son, please don't rely on him too much. I will invite you to the wedding, but I must warn you right now, don't make yourself heard too much. This is our wedding, after all. You do understand, right? Yes, of course. That's what she told me. I was pretty shocked, as you can imagine. Did I do something to offend her, maybe? Was Susan angry at me for something?
Oh yeah, right, about that. I forgot all about that. No, she's not angry or anything. She's just being a little overly cautious, that's all.
Overly cautious. Really? You mean she's self-conscious or something?
No, nothing like that. It's just that her dad's grandma and her mom didn't really get along very well. Apparently she witnessed a feud between those two all while growing up. As far as I know, she and her mom have no contact with her grandmother anymore. So you can imagine her negative attitude toward family relationships such as with you and Susan. It's not about you, Mom. Nothing to do with her liking or disliking you.
I see. So that's what this is all about. No wonder she seems so hostile. I have no antagonistic feelings toward her in the least. I suppose it's a form of trauma, huh?
Exactly. I suppose you can say that. After she settles into married life for a while and gets used to being around you, she'll probably relax her guard and everything will be normal, I hope. It's not a problem for you, is it? You got Caroline and her husband, not to mention your grandkids just living down the street. If there's a problem, just call Caroline, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Caroline and the kids keep me pretty busy. I don't have a problem with that, but it just seems kind of unsociable. After all, we are family. She seems like a nice person. I just thought we could have closer ties.
Yeah, well, she's that way, so what can I say? She'll come around eventually. Our families are not exactly alike. She had a tough time growing up. On the other hand, we had a pretty normal life, I suppose. Just as long as you can sit there at the wedding and not make any unnecessary comments, she'll be okay.
Yeah, well, under the circumstances, I suppose I can manage. All I want is for you guys to be happy, that's all. I don't want to disrupt it in any way. I hope she understands that. And I hope she comes around after you guys settled in.
Yeah, I suppose we just have to wait and see. Anyway, thanks for today. I'll contact you again once we get the wedding schedule all figured out.
Mother? What the hell was that all about? Are you out of your mind or something? Oh, hello, Susan. It's been a while, hasn't it? Oh, and congratulations. I was elated to hear from Ken that you gave birth to a beautiful baby boy, and you just came back from the hospital. So glad that it all went well. I really cannot believe you, Mother. You act as though you're so concerned. I can see right through you. How could you send such a thing? Excuse me? Acting concerned? I'm not acting. I am concerned. And what are you talking about, this thing? I'm talking about the baby clothes and the envelope of money. That thing. What the hell were you thinking sending me such a thing? Susan, I really don't know what you mean. I just thought it was an appropriate gift. Just something to congratulate you on giving birth. That's all. I really wasn't sure what to get, so I figured a monetary gift and some baby clothes. I'm sorry, I wasn't sure of your tastes, but I picked out something that was pretty basic. Did you not like it? You finally revealed yourself, haven't you? Sending such cheap clothes and money, trying to worm your way in and see your grandson? Pretty sneaky. This baby is our son, not yours. And I bet when you heard it was a boy, you wanted him for yourself. Well, that's not going to happen. I know what you're going to say next. Someone to take over the family, or some crap like that. Am I right? Pardon me? That was certainly not my intention. I didn't think you would use such underhanded tactics. I almost got comfortable because you've been so quiet for the past 3 years. Boy, was I wrong. Did you really think I would be duped into your little scheme with these cheap baby clothes? That's what I was worried about. An obsessive mother. I assure you, that was never my intention. It was just a simple gift for your baby. I didn't want it to be too extravagant. Thought you would take it wrong. As a matter of fact, I just found out it was a boy. I don't want to hear any of your rationalizations. He's not your grandson. Can't you get that through your head? He's not going to be taking over that family or anything like that. Just so you know. Just because you brought Ken up as a single mother does not mean our child will take over your family. Not much of a family to take over anyways. Susan, I have never thought that at all. I couldn't even imagine thinking such a thing. You got me all wrong, Susan. I can't understand why you would think that of me. Playing the victim now, huh? I can read you like a book. You send a gift and money. That only means you want something from me. You wouldn't do this for free. I know the little game you're playing. Curry favor with us, and when you grow old and can't walk anymore, you want us to look after you. That's it, isn't it? I'm not going to fall for your little trick. Don't you dare think you can put one over on me. As for those baby clothes, I dumped them in the garbage. My parents are going to buy me whatever I want. Better quality clothes. Pardon me, are you serious? How could you? I would prefer that you not meddle in our lives. No matter how you try to pander us, we will never have any family interaction with you. Keep that in mind. And I will tell you this right now, I have no intention of looking after you when you get old. You're not seeing our children either. As a matter of fact, it would be preferable if you did not interact with Ken anymore either. Please, Susan, listen to me. You've got me all wrong. Can't you just give me a little time to explain myself? No, I don't want to hear it. There is nothing more for us to talk about. Just forget about us. Make like we never existed. Goodbye.
Mom, what the hell are you up to? Susan just got out of the hospital and was finally able to relax. I wish you wouldn't upset her like that. She needs to rest.
I have no idea why she's so angry at me. All I did was send her some gifts and a little money. I think she just put a block on me. I tried contacting her, but there's no response.
I told you not to interfere with her life. She's real sensitive about all that. You do remember me talking about that, right? Did you really have to send that gift? Just leave us be, Mom. Actually, she thinks it's some kind of ploy. I'm starting to think so too.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Come on, Mom. Don't sound so innocent. So, Susan was right about this all along. There was $5,000 in that envelope. What is it that you really want from us, Mom? Don't tell me you're trying to buy our son from us, are you, Mom? Because no way that's happening. Or do you want us to feel duty-bound to you and worm your way into living with us? That's it, isn't it? Did you really think that $5,000 would buy you a grandson and a home to live in and eventually us taking care of you? We can see right through your scheme, Mom.
Ken, how can you even say or think that about your own mother? I've been very patient for the past few years, but what you're saying is absolutely irrational. Please explain it to me from the very start. I just can't wrap my head around why you two are acting the way you are.
Yeah, okay. You may be right. This may be a good time as any to explain things to you. Also, I want you to know what I've been holding back for God knows how long. It all boils down to me being brought up by a single parent.
Excuse me?
I grew up without a father. My childhood growing up was a depressing time for me. Did you even know that? We grew up poor too, and that sure wasn't easy. I was so ashamed of not having a father. I was bullied constantly at school about that. I had a tough time growing up, and it was all your fault. Even after I left home, you insisted that I support you financially. Although it wasn't much, it was your way of manipulating me, never giving me the freedom I craved. And what do you do after I get married? You worm your way into my family and start snooping around and trying to control us. Always trying to manipulate things your way. It always has to be your way. Susan's parents never try to interfere in our affairs. At all.
Ken, am I hearing you right? I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't stand being manipulated by you. No more. This ends here. I don't consider you my mother. You never did anything that would merit such a title. I would much rather that we cut all family ties. I consider Susan's parents as my real true family. I no longer want anything from you, and I don't plan on supporting or interacting with you ever again. That also means we won't allow you to see our son. Have a good time living at the old folks' home and with nobody to take care of you. I hope you'll think long and hard about how you treated me all these years. Don't ever, and I mean ever, interfere in our lives again.
I understand. I had no idea you felt that way about me. Because I brought you up as a single parent, you no longer consider me your mother and you want to cut all ties with me? You feel I sent you a gift and money for the sole purpose of tricking you into supporting me in my final years? Is that it? That's why you've been acting this way?
That's exactly what I'm saying. So don't ever show your face in our home again. You got that?
I hear you loud and clear, Ken. If that's the case, would you vacate the place you're living in now then?
Huh? Say again? Why will we do that? Are you talking about the apartment we're living in right now? This place?
That's right. If you insist that you don't want my support or anything to do with me, I want you out of that apartment ASAP.
Like I said, why would I do that? Are you crazy? I've been living in this apartment since I was in college. I've always lived here. You have no right to kick me out of here.
That's where you're wrong, Ken. That apartment you guys are living in, I own that apartment.
Excuse me? You own this apartment?
That's right. I bought it about 10 years ago. The whole place belongs to me. You can check if you like.
No way. That's not true. You're making that crap up.
It's true. I can show you the deed. Because I own the place, you guys are able to live there for half the usual rent. When you started living alone after entering college, it was me who found you that apartment. You do remember that, don't you?
Yeah, I remember, but you never told me you were the owner. That can't be right. How could that be? Where do you even get that kind of money?
Where? I worked for it, that's where. Although the company isn't that big, I am the president of a small apparel company. I do have a bit of income.
What? The owner? The president of a clothing company? That's a barefaced lie. How could you, my mother, own an apartment, much less be the president of a clothing firm? Come on, Mom. Don't give me that crock. Anyways, we've been poor all our lives. You were always working, always tight-fisted, money conscious about everything. You always had the neighbor babysit me and Caroline growing up, for God's sakes.
What neighbor? Oh, you mean Mrs. Lopez? The one who used to come over when you were kids? She wasn't a neighbor. She was a housekeeper I had hired.
Huh? A housekeeper?
Yes, that was when you were just kids. It was about a year after your father passed away. The apparel company that I had established was in full swing. I hired Mrs. Lopez to take care of the house chores and babysit you guys. The neighbor you're talking about? You must mean Mrs. Lopez.
Are you for real, Mom? You hired a housekeeper? We weren't that well off that we could hire a housekeeper.
Why did you even think we were poor? I never considered us poor. I never put you through hardship while growing up. Did you ever not have enough to eat or have the proper clothes when needed? I provided all that to you. And you don't remember all the trips we went on. How about those weekend trips to the amusement park or the zoo? Don't tell me you forgot all that. I made sure you went to the best schools, the schools you wanted to go to. That private school you went to, all your uniforms or whatnot were brand new. No hand-me-downs. You were able to pursue any sport or hobby you wanted. And what about college? Who do you think paid your tuition? You didn't have a scholarship to fall back on. And I've never received any kind of support from you, despite what you say. As a matter of fact, it was me that supported you. When did I ever take from you?
Huh? Well, I was just... Ever since Susan learned that I grew up in a single-parent home, well, she said that it must have been hard living in poverty and not having a father. Always being manipulated by my mother, she felt sorry for me. She'd always repeated this and sympathizing with me. That's when I started to realize that I was brought up poor. At least that's what I thought. I'm not sure what to think anymore.
It seems Susan got it in her head that a single parent means being poor. You never experienced a normal family like Susan had, so you believed everything she said. I was wondering why you suddenly had this fierce animosity toward me. Now I get the whole picture.
Mom, I'm really sorry. It was just that, now that you mention it, you did pay my college tuition, and you sent me an adequate allowance on a regular basis. I never had any money problems. As a matter of fact, I was living better than most of my friends. But like an idiot, I forgot about all that. I was such a jerk to believe that crap. Please forgive me, Mom.
There is no need to apologize. As a matter of fact, I feel relieved now that I know the real reason why you and Susan were acting this way toward me.
Mom, thanks for understanding.
Let's get back to what we were talking about the apartment. From next month, I'm going to ask that you pay the normal rent just like everyone else there.
Huh? Wait, what? But why?
Why? You don't need my help anymore, right? If you want to continue living there, well, just pay the usual rent. That's all I'm asking. If you can't do that, you're just going to have to move out.
Wait a second, Mom. I just finished explaining everything to you. So why? It was all just one big mistake. So let's just get back to how it's always been. I apologized, didn't I? You said you were relieved for Pete's sake.
I was just relieved to hear the reason you were mean. That has nothing to do with the apartment. After you said all those awful things to me, that you didn't think of me as your mother, that you wanted to cut all ties with me. Oh, and you were embarrassed that you grew up without a father, and that was my fault. Remember saying that? Then you do a flip-flop and say you're sorry and everything is back to square one. I'm sorry, but that sounds way too disrespectful. It just doesn't fly, Ken.
Yeah, but I explained all that.
Words are like bullets, Ken. They can injure people. There is no reversing it. My patience has reached its limit, and as you wish, I will cut all ties with you. No more support from me going forward, just so you know. And when the time comes, I plan to leave everything, the company, home, and that apartment you're living in, right now, to Carolyn and her family. And about taking care of me in my senior years, I already arranged everything in that regard, so no worries there. You don't have to return all the money I sent you during college or that money I sent you last week for the baby.
Wait, Mom, please. You can't do this to us. Apartment rent. We just had a kid, for God's sakes. We can't afford to pay more for rent, much less move out.
What are you saying? Where'd that aggressive attitude go? You were all set on going in on your own. You didn't want my help.
Please, Mom, forgive me. I was totally out of line. You can't do this to us.
I am sorry, son. I already made up my mind. Talk the rest over with your wife. Hello, Mother. This is Susan, your daughter-in-law. I'm so sorry for all the trouble we've caused. Ken explained everything to me. I had this negative perception of you. A total skewered viewpoint, to say the least. I was so rude to you. How can I ever make amends for how I treated you? The past years must have been hell for you. Please forgive me. Hello, Susan. Thanks for contacting me. I know you're very busy with your son and all, but there is no need for you to apologize. Think nothing of it. You must be drained after your stay in the hospital. You should get plenty of rest, so calm down. I will not be interfering in your affairs any longer. Rest assured. Please, don't say that. I know this is asking a lot, but please give us one more chance. I'll go over there and apologize in person. Let me explain everything to you. That it was all just a simple misunderstanding. I'll bring your grandson with me too. You do want to meet your grandson, right? Please, I'd rather you didn't. I'd prefer it that we not interact. I haven't seen you for 3 years. Not since the wedding. I don't even recall what you look like. I'm not in the mood to meet people I don't know very well. It's just stressful for older folks. And about bringing your baby, I really must decline. Pardon me? You don't want to see your grandson? If you cut ties with us, that means you won't be able to see your grandson forever. Well, I've got 4 grandkids right next door at my daughter Caroline's place, so I think I'll be fine. Besides, that's your child, right? You said he was not my grandson. You did say that, right? Yes, I did say that, but that was because... Also, using your child as a pawn to lure a poor grandmother in? Kind of despicable, wouldn't you say? That really was not my intention. I'm really guilt-ridden over all this. Ashamed that I even acted that way. And about the clothes and money you sent as a gift, I know it's kinda late, but I really appreciate your thoughtfulness. I'm sorry about the baby clothes. Oh, the baby clothes I sent. Yes, those. You threw those cheap things out, right? I must thank you. Those baby clothes were made at my company. I already reprimanded the staff for their shoddy workmanship. Wait, that was made at your company? Yes, it must have been embarrassing for you to receive such substandard baby clothes. My daughter loved them, so I figured you would too. I'm to blame. Please accept my apologies. No, please don't say that. They weren't cheap at all. They were wonderful, the perfect gift. Please, I don't know what to say. All I can do is apologize. Ever since I was a child, I watched my mother get bullied by my grandmother. I was not treated all that well by her either. Always being reprimanded for one thing or another. Once I got married, I thought I would be treated the same way. Maybe even have my child taken from me. I was just so scared. I just wanted to protect my family. I was adamant about not getting pulled into that kind of situation again. I understand what you went through and that your grandmother was an awful person. We all encounter such people in our lives. But I'm not the same person as your grandmother. Not a mother-in-law or some such label you prefer to apply, but a human being. It's very emotionally distressing to be treated in such a way without knowing the reason why. It leaves a person traumatized. Please forgive me. I did say those things without even knowing you at all. It's an unforgivable thing I did to you. My perspective was totally skewered. I beg your forgiveness. There is no need to apologize any further. I also would prefer that you not visit and apologize in person. I'm also worried about your health after what you went through. I need to get things sorted out. Let's just keep things as it is for the time being, and maybe we'll talk after a while. Yes, I understand. Okay, then take care of yourself, Susan. I received a letter from Susan soon after. She repeated her apologies and explained why she acted the way she did. I was even paid a visit by her parents, whom I had never actually met, apologizing on her behalf. After a while, I relented to her constant apologies and felt she was sincere, and we came to a mutual understanding. But it was Ken that would not give up. He was set on trying to get me to financially support him, that he resorted to coming over late at night and trying to persuade me to change my mind. He even resorted to practically kidnapping his child from Susan and driving over 2 hours to our home in an attempt to curry favor with me. He even turned on his wife, blaming her for turning on his mother in the first place. In the end, it was Ken that caused trouble for both Susan and myself. But on his last attempt at trying to persuade me, Susan stopped him and severely reprimanded him for his ways. She was eventually able to get him to see the light, but the whole incident caused Susan to contemplate divorce. And after a few years, that's exactly what happened. Ken is currently living alone somewhere, with no rights to see his child, only burdened with child support payments. Susan was wrong in having such a negative perspective of me, but she paid the price for that and made amends for her mistake. It was Ken that was the problem. His emotions took over and he was not able to stop until he got his way, which eventually led to his demise. As for my relationship with Susan, We maintained a cordial relationship through the years, and even exchanged Christmas cards and birthday greetings every year. Recently, we got together for my grandson's birthday party. I think we've started an amiable relationship. I actually enjoy her company.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.